So, welcome back to We Love This Book. We're very, very excited today to have CJ Daugherty here to talk about your new book.
I'm excited to be here.
The Secret Fire.
Yes.
Written with, and Corinna Rosenfeld?
Corinna Rosenfeld,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Tell me about The Secret Fire.
Well, The Secret Fire is, it was the general idea was to take ancient beliefs and bring them into the modern world.
Okay.
So what if we found out that the medieval manuscripts were right and there really were demons? We brought back alchemy and ancient curses. And what if you just found out that this existed and affected you? So The Secret Fire is about a boy who can't die until his 18th birthday, when an ancient curse dictates that he must die.
Right.
And it's about the girl who can save him. But they don't know anything about this at the beginning. They have 8 weeks to find each other, 8 weeks to figure it out, and they live in separate countries.
How did it come about that you wrote it with Corinna? How did you know each other already?
Well, it was one of those little tricks of fate. You know, and the book is all about fate, and maybe because of the way Corinna and I met, which is that we have the same French publisher. We were often sat next to each other at these big book. France has these huge book fairs, gigantic. You sit there as a writer for hours signing your books, and maybe there'll be a break and you'll have a chance to talk to the writer sitting next to you. And with me, it was always Corinna. But through this, we kind of became friends, in that weird way. And we used to fantasize. If we were trying to book together, what would it be? And we both knew we kind of wanted to write magic. But I remember the first time we ever discussed it, we were having a cup of coffee, and I said, I kind of want to write about magic. And she's like, yeah, me too. And then we both said at exactly the same time, but not witches. And they were like, oh my god. What do you want to write about? And that was sort of the beginning.
How, on a practical sort of level, do you co-write? Because it's not even written, although it starts quite distinctly as kind of Taylor and Sasha are quite distinct.
Yeah.
It's not that there's 2 first-person voices that we switch between.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
It's really funny because we just had no idea what we were doing when we started. And I read about how other writers co-write. Cassandra Clare co-writes loads with her friends, but they actually sit in the same room because they live in the same town, or maybe they go away for a month and they write, and neither of us could do that. And we didn't really want to because this was for fun when we started, and we both had other book projects.
Yeah.
So we did it all by email, much the way that the characters communicate in the book. So she would send me her thoughts by email. We once spent an entire Saturday just the emails are just flying, and I was sending her 14th century manuscript links, and she's sending me oh, Carcassonne, we should base something in Carcassonne in France because it's famously amazing and mystical, and that's how the idea developed.
Right.
And then once we started writing, it actually began with her sending me a chapter. She sent me chapter 1, almost as it is now.
Right.
And just said, I've started our book, she said. And I'm like, oh, we're really doing this. And it was amazing. It's an amazing chapter. And I thought, oh, I've got to know what happens to this boy.
Yeah.
So I wrote chapter 2. And originally it was sort of like a game of exquisite corpse, in that we didn't tell each other what we were going to write to make it more fun. On the edit was vicious. Making sure everything was in a perfectly linear, but writing, we just wrote like a shark swims. Let's go straight ahead till we get to the end.
When you were editing, did you find it was harder to edit yourself or Corinna?
Myself.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I hadn't thought about it till now, but it was so much easier, and we did edit each other.
Right.
So I edited the entire book, and then I sent it to Corinna and said, basically have your bash, and she could go through and edit the entire book. And then it went to our editor from there, and so then she could have her bash. So it was, we did bash it through.
I have to talk about the fact that this is not like it. There's a second book.
Yeah.
So it's one of 2 though.
Yeah, there's just 2.
Why was it always conceived as 2 books, or did you just have there's lots of story to tell?
I think it was the lots of story because we started writing without a synopsis.
Right.
And we got about 10 chapters in when I sent it to my agent. And she was like, can I have the synopsis, please? And I'm like, oh yeah, that. So we wrote the synopsis then.
Okay.
And when we wrote the synopsis, we realized that what we'd started was a long enough of a tale that to cram it into one book. Look how long this book is.
Yeah.
It would be too fast.
Yeah.
You would rush through the story and you wouldn't get to know the characters. And we both felt it's as much as a character study as it is as plot. The character's just as important.
But I need to know when the next one is coming. Do you have a timescale?
I do. September next year.
Okay.
So it's ages.
Like a year-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You can do this.
And obviously no spoilers, but speaking of near the end, obviously it gets quite dark. Well, it's dark all the way through, but I can say some people die.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that just it always, you felt like it had to be that you had to be talking about death and darkness, and you couldn't have toned it down.
I feel like with the kind of content that we've got, in order for it to have the impact to be as scary as it should be. I mean, it's about demonology. It's about, you know, ancient, the 15th century was, and the 14th century, those were unpleasant places to hang out, really. Life was short, and it wasn't valuable. So although we don't kill many people, we kill, in particular, one who really matters.
Yeah.
I know.
I didn't see it coming.
No, well, exactly. And that kind of, in a way, was the idea. Like, that's the moment when Taylor realizes this is really happening and I can't get out of this. And it had to have that huge impact for her and for us to think, oh my God, now you have to do it. You have to do these things. It's not a game. So that to me felt, but I'm always really parsimonious with my murdering. Honestly, Corinna would have killed everybody.
Oh really?
I was holding her back.
I'm nervous about the next fucking award. Last question. What are you reading at the moment?
I'm actually reading an adult crime novel right now. I know, what's wrong with me? I'm really into crime. And so I'm reading a series. I just discovered a writer named Tana French, who's Irish.
Yes.
Why have I not discovered her before? I actually had one for books sitting on my shelves for like 2 or 3 years, you know, in my to-be-read pile. Yeah. And then I read it when I was recently traveling and could not put it down. I was completely absorbed. And then I emailed my agent, because I saw at the end she thinks my agent. They know each other. And so I emailed my agent, do you know Tana French? Because I love her. She's like, she's brilliant. So now I'm reading all of her books and I'm getting, like, I'm determined to meet her. So I'm reading that, and I'm also reading, what am I reading? Am I Normal Yet? By Holly Bourne, which I'm loving. So I'm kind of switching back and forth between like my crime hat and my like amazing YA hat.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. The Secret Fire. This is the proof. So it does actually look
sparkly,
similar, but it's more sparkly.
It is more sparkly,
and it's out now. And we will link to the trailer below so you can get a taste of it.